Destiny 2 has a loot problem from ZkMushroom. Now, this video got 300 likes, 100 downvotes, which means ZK must have had a hot take. Let's see what he was cooking up with this one.
Looter shooters, a really difficult genre to actually create nowadays. We've seen so many games like Anthem, The Division, Outriders, First Ascendant, and they all try to do this genre, but there's only one game that actually does it correctly, and it is Destiny
Warframe.
2 made by Bungie. But in any good looter shooter, the most important thing to me personally is the loot. I need a reason to play the activities, and I need a reason to grind for good stuff.
Okay, I mean, that's a valid point. I mean, he wants loot in the game. That's like his main objective. I think that obviously Destiny 2, that's like a multifactorial game. Like there's a lot of different factors that get you playing and logging in, but loot is definitely one of the biggest ones. So this is the main focal point of his video here. There's a big loot problem.
No matter how good the activity is, if I'm not obtaining something worth my time, I'm probably not going to do it. And this was never an issue in Destiny until now for me. If we go back in time in Destiny 1...
Oh, take me back, dude. SRL. Oh, that was fun.
Every activity and everything I was doing in the game just...
The GOAT in Rage Cinema. Let's go. He got his G-horn.
Felt so rewarding and so, like, unique.
Dude, that was a good time. Back when getting an exotic felt super special. I don't know how Bungie could do that again without just creating a new rarity of exotics, though. Like black tiered weapons or something. And I don't know how they could do that because I don't think you'll ever get back to the feeling that you got when you got your first ever Galhorn. I remember it like it was yesterday, and it was literally like 11 years ago.
I would go in strikes and get strike-specific loots. I would play PvP for years, by the way. I played for 3 years, and I was trying to get a god roll, a Yuzuna.
This right here this was an insane grind. I was trying to get this thing with Hidden Hand, because it gave it more aim assist, and on controller, obviously more aim assist is very good, especially when you're missing a lot of your shots, like I do at times. You probably have seen my PvP gameplay, we do be missing a couple shots here and there. So I wanted Hidden Hand on this. I wanted the god roll, and you would play Crucible. I'm not joking. You'd log in and play Crucible. There was a chance for it to drop. I swear it would drop one IS Luna like every 10 Crucible match completions, and the chances of getting a god roll had to be like 1 in a million because I never saw it. It was so rare. And this made a really interesting grind. I played thousands of hours of D1 to try and get this roll. Never got it. And nowadays in Destiny 2, they just kind of give you the god rolls. Obviously, they created kind of a power grind. I do miss these days, though. Even though I never got my god roll IS Luna, there was always that carrot at the end of the stick. I still got a few rolls, and I had to use some kind of okay rolls. But it was nice to always have that thing. Like, there was a reason to log into Destiny 1 every day because there was a chance that this motherfucker was going to drop. And every time it would drop, I would jump out of my seat. I was like, could this be it? Could this be the role I'm looking for? And this actually made it really exciting. This gave me just as much excitement grinding for this IS Luna as much as getting my first Galhorn.
Guess what? I never got it, but there was the palindrome.
Oh, he never got it either. Wow.
There was so many guns to obtain from PvP that made playing PvP worth my time. And of course, I had fun playing it, but at the end of each match, I had a feeling that, I might get a god roll, I might get something I need. You would go in a raid, for example, Vault of Glass. You knew the armor from Vault of Glass was the Vault of Glass armor. It was just so unique, and you could get a secret chest to get a cloak, a bond, or a mark. You had all the good guns too, like for example, Fatebringer in Destiny 1. I had to get this gun because it was good in Crota in the first encounter. It was Arc, and it could roll with Firefly, so I could kill a bunch of different ads at the same time.
And speaking of the Vault of Glass weapons, remember when you had Praetorian Foil, like this crazy rare drop? It was had to be 0.01% drop to get a Praetorian Foil, this crazy fusion rifle. Yeah, take me back, dude.
And you had the Vision of Confluence, which was super good for the oracles, so every gun from every activity just felt like it had a utility, You had Prideth Revenge, which was good for PvP, the sniper rifle. And of course, you had raid exotics. And we have to talk about raid exotics in this video because in Destiny 2, I feel like raid exotics are they're not crazy enough, They're not good enough. The feeling of completing the Vault of Glass in D1 and finally getting your Vex Mythic class and actually going Crucible with it, oh my god, no better feeling. when you did Crota's End and you get this sick looking armor that had like a green aura all around it, it's like that was just phenomenal. Like that's what we need in Destiny 2.
I mean, technically that armor is in Destiny 2, yeah.
And all the guns were pretty good too. The Ward of Crota was void, so you had to use it in, for example, Nightfalls, because Nightfalls, you had to use specific elements to destroy the shields and stuff. You had the Black Hammer. Like, that sniper had infinite bullets. It was so good for DPS. And just so many fun guns and so many fun armor was from Destiny 1. And it's the type of stuff that you just remember. Remember also the first time you got your Galahorn, your Twilight Garrison, your Bones of Ao. Like, that was just so fun back in the days. But this is not a video comparing Destiny 1 to Destiny 2.
And I think it's an interesting comparison when you look at the loot. Now, power creep is an issue with this. Obviously, the discovery stage of any game is like the most exciting, most fun stage. Like when you first jump into this new world and you're figuring things out and like everything is interesting, you know? Like just roaming around and doing a patrol at one point in time for you was super interesting. You're like, whoa, like what's going on? There's like Fallen running around and they're shooting me. And then like this patrol event would start and you're like, what's happening? And you know, you're discovering everything. But now you go and do a patrol. It's not interesting. It's like you've done a million patrols. You've done probably raids. You've probably done a bunch of stuff that's way crazier, way more difficult than doing a patrol or a public event or something like that. Right. And so it kind of loses its allure to some degree. And then, you know, those weapons that are busted like a Black Hammer, you know, they do have to be balanced at some point in time, right? Like otherwise the power creep does get kind of crazy. As much as I do want power creep to just go to the craziest, highest degree, there comes a point where, you know, you just start one-shotting the bosses all of a sudden. And that's probably not the best.
I think Destiny 2 is a superior version of D1 for sure. But in terms of loot, D1 just had it better. Now you wait for a new DLC in Destiny 2 and you know exactly the exotics that are coming because Bungie does a trailer for them, and you can determine if they're worth grinding for or not right away, because most of the time they are pretty bad, especially for PvP. And instead of being a random drop for exotics, you can just pretty much like get 1,000 engrams now, and like you just open exotic engrams and you get the exotics, and like there's no satisfaction at all. There's no RNG aspect. And it really wasn't better back in the days too when you had to do Lost Sector, because you would grind the activity just to get the specific loot that you want. Any activity, in my opinion, should drop any exotic at any point, and they should be kind of rare, you know? This is not me gatekeeping, but this is what keeps the game fresh. In the recent DLCs and Season of Destiny, we only get 3 exotic armor, 1 for each class. Like, in my opinion, a looter shooter, each season should have way more. Like, each DLC should have like 5, 6, 7, 8 exotics per DLC, just like we got in Forsaken or even in Shadowkeep.
I agree. Obviously, no one's going to disagree with having more exotics drop each time. But the idea of all of the exotics being locked behind that random RNG is, it's going to be a hot one, right? That's might be get some people upset. And the reason why is because you'll see people that actually have like absurdly bad RNG to the point where you think to like, you almost start to feel pity for them. Like I remember one guy, I'm trying to remember what his name was, but he was a streamer and he did Vault of Glass over 100 times to get 1,000 voices. And you can only do it 3 times a week, right? So think about the math of this. He did it over 100 times and it was like 100 and something. He finally got his first 1,000 voices. If you do the math on that, like 3 times a week, you know, for I mean, how long would that even be? Well, that's like more than half a year. I mean, you had to wait like 6 months just to get his fucking 1,000 voices. Like, that's kind of crazy, right? Like, there's a level of like insanity for waiting for these exotics. Like, if you imagine a new exotic drops and all you want is like, oh my God, there's this sick new exotic. I really want to use this thing. It's going to be so crazy. And then like, you don't get it for 3 months. You're going to be like, why am I playing this game? I am losing my fucking mind, you know? For me, that was Anarchy, actually. It took me 50-something clears to get my Anarchy, which at the time I didn't really care that much. I wasn't super excited about that exotic, particularly, but it was crazy that it took that long to get Anarchy. And everyone kind of has this story. All the OG people in the chat right now, they're all chumming off on the Twitch stream right now. They're all like, dude, I had this game and it was like that, or I was grinding for this weapon and that's exactly what it was like. And it creates an interesting relationship with the game to some degree where you like that exclusivity when it works in your favor, but you fucking hate that shit when it doesn't. When that weapon doesn't drop for you and everyone else has it, you're like, dude, I'm gonna lose it. I'm gonna crash out right now. Give me that gun, Bungie. You better give me that gun, right? And so I think that there has to be a way where, you invest a certain amount of time and you get the weapons, and then you invest more time and the weapons become more powerful. There still needs to be a randomized element for some god rolls. The systems, they need to evolve, and there has to be solutions for everyone, right? You should have a route where you can have really good meta weapons from just playing the game a lot, and there should be a route where maybe you can kind of gamble a little bit, maybe randomly there's some crazy god roll can drop, a hollow foil tier 5, all 3 perks in both columns, exactly what you want in PvE and PvP, right? And that type of thing. That's kind of a better system, I think, in general.
I don't think I have to go in depth in exotic. I think we all know that they're just kind of like boring now, but it is what it is. Obviously, we got to talk about the new tier system for weapons or armor. The 1 through 5 tier of armors. Obviously, you want to get a tier 5 because they have all the enhanced perks, the enhanced masterwork, and blah, blah, blah. And at first, I thought that was really cool. But the more I play this game and the more I reach a higher level, yes, I'm starting to get tier 5. But the tier 5s are getting boring to get. And this, I don't want to say it's as like someone gatekeeping it or having an ego, but it's just, I keep none of the tier 5 now because I have too many of them, and it's just not like rare anymore.
Yeah, and that's going to happen. And what they're doing, it's pretty easy to see what Bungie's future is doing right here. Like, we can peek behind the curtain. And so what it is, the armor was completely meaningless for like years prior to Edge of Fate. And now that it's incorporated in this new tiered system, it's here. And we're like, oh my gosh, dude, armor is going to be crazy. You get all this set bonuses and stuff like that. And then you have kind of fixed stats. So what will happen in the future, obviously like 6 months from now, a year from now, whatever it may be, is that they'll be able to have a different version of those fixed stats. So right now you can do one that gives you, high intellect and high melee, right? Well, in the future, they'll give you other variants of those, which will get you to go redo old activities, or maybe they'll give you the option to customize and pick the exact stats where you want them to go. Lots of stuff new, armor set bonuses, or maybe mix and matching armor set bonuses. Like, it's going to start off being a significant improvement pre-Edge of Fate, and then it's going to ramp up because that's kind of just the natural progression. They could just give us everything all at once and it would be insane, but it'd be kind of crazy power creep immediately. But that's kind of where it's going, right? Because then that's like the next thing that they're going to do that's going to get you excited for armor again. There's going to be these new additions, these new updates to armor with time. I feel like that's at least where it's going. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm misinterpreting things, but I feel like that was kind of the intent.
People that have not reached the 400 plus light level yet, you're probably going to hate me for saying this, but once you reach that level and once you keep playing the game, you're going to understand that you're going to feel the same type of way as me. And obviously I'm a Trials player, so I go to the Lighthouse pretty often, and now the Lighthouse feels like I'm getting just normal drops. Nothing unique about the tier 5. I want to get like tier 6, tier 7, something that
all right, this is some power creep insanity. What the hell is he cooking up right now?
proves that I played a harder activity than other people, Like, if I get a flawless, I should get like a tier 6, tier 7, something that's like proving that, oh, I achieved something in the game, and my gun is like...
If it keeps going like this, tier 7, tier 8, tier 9, we're going to have people like... Defizzle plays like 15 hours a day or something like that, right? He's going to have like tier 69 weapons that just fucking one-shot everyone, hit fire across the map. Perfect fucking, 400 aim assist stat. I don't even know. Like, it's obviously there has to be a level of balance to this to some degree. But his main point, which is that he's finally leveled up and now all the loot is really, really good now, is exactly how I feel. It took me a while to finally level up. I was taking my time. But now I'm like, I'm deleting god rolls regularly now. I delete god rolls all the time, which is kind of crazy because before I was like, I can't wait till I'm higher level. Oh, I have a tier 3 god roll. Oh, this is good. But when I get a little bit higher level, I'm going to get the tier 5 god roll of this thing, right? And then once you get there, you're like, oh, now everything's good. Now it's kind of just raining loot down on me. Everything is tier 5. Life is good. But maybe that's the way it's supposed to be. Maybe it's meant to be this, like, you're kind of like climbing a mountain and then you hit the peak and then you can kind of get to enjoy the rest of that 6-month period, right? And that's where we're at for a lot of people. Now, should it just be, you're climbing a mountain and you just keep climbing and keep climbing and keep climbing, obviously people are going to take advantage of that. Content creators, streamers, people that are just, no life in the game and just going to be on, fucking all day, every day. It's going to make a crazy power imbalance, especially for people that just want to play it casually. But I think that he does have a valid point where it feels a little bit not as enticing when you do finally get leveled up. Eventually, you get to the point where you're just deleting tier 5 shit all the time. But I think it's probably a necessity. Like there's just no way. I don't know what else you can do. I don't know what else. I don't know what the solution to that would be. I don't know if I think tier 6 would be a problem. Tier 7 that might be a problem. I don't know though. Let me know what you think.
Better. Or if, by the way, they should bring back Grandmaster Nightfalls. But if you do a Grandmaster Nightfall, you should get a gun that's different from a Strike, you know? And adept weapons were that thing back in the days. And removing them, even though tier 5s are better than adept in like stats wise, adepts just felt more like rewarding because you had a different name on your gun, you know? And they had better stuff, adept mods and stuff like that. Adepts, in my opinion, were just better in general because you actually had to earn them. And that's also another issue. And
well, that's how everything was tied before, right? So before you would do like raids or like trials and go to Lighthouse, and that was how you got adepts. It was gate kept effectively behind like really hard, really challenging content. But it made sense because you had to sort of aspire to get better or to get that content. And at least along the way, you could get a god roll of a non-adept weapon. Now they kind of just made it so if you just play the game a lot, you're going to get the tier 5s, and those are effectively what the adepts were before. Is that a problem? I don't know if it's necessarily a problem. It's just it doesn't have that same aspirational grind anymore because you're just like, you just sort of log in and mindlessly farm your, chores and do your hours, and then you get your god roll. Whereas before it was like you kind of had to, you got challenged, like, fuck, I got to go flawless. Like, I'm kind of trash in PvP. Like, what do I even use? You got to learn what to use, Now you're just like, fuck it, I'll just fucking jump in there, turn my literal brain off, fucking fall asleep, wake up, and suddenly tier 5 loot,
I think that's why Bungie started doing all this stuff and making reward just like pointless. Because most people that play Destiny 2 now, they log in and they expect to get the loot without working for it. And now that we have that in Destiny, all those people are gone because it's just a double-edged knife. Obviously, it's cool that everyone can get the same loots, but at one point, people all get the same loot and they get bored. There's nothing to grind for, and they just leave the game. And I think it's a big factor in the population just being down right now. And it's happening to me also because right now in Destiny, I'm really selective on the activities that I'm going to play. If I look at the loot and in the activity, the loot is not worth it, I don't play it now. For example, Desert Perpetual, none of the armor looks cool in my opinion. None of the guns are good in PvP, and the raid exotic sucks. How many Desert Perpetual?
That's tough because the weapons are definitely, there's some really good weapons in that raid, but he was specific to PvP. And so if it's not good for him in PvP, then he just doesn't even do the activity outright. That's going to be hard to balance the game in some ways where every weapon is going to have viability in both PvE and PvP in terms of its perk pool. It would be the right way to do things because if you could get PvP players in PvE, obviously that boosts the population, get PvE players to play PvP, right? You kind of get the community to play both activities to get the god rolls on both sides. But at least in the terms of the raid for him, those aren't even, none of those weapons are being used in trials or challenging PvP. So it's why waste his time doing a really tough raid? Like you have to do a multi-feat raid. It's going to be sweaty as hell. It's going to be hard. And then you get a bunch of loot that he's just not going to use because he only wants to play PvP.
Have I done? One. I'm not going to do more. There's no point for me, And same with the epic version. Like, I don't want to get an exotic rockets that I'm never going to use either in PvP or PvE. I want to go into the raid knowing that I can get a conditional finality or something really useful that I want to use. So I missed the old Destiny loot from Forsaken, Shadowkeep, Witch Queen. It was just different. And guess what? By the way, Bungie said that they were going to stop doing FOMO, which means the fear of missing out. So they said during the Fellwinter meta back in the days, probably like 2 years ago, that they're going to stop doing FOMO and they want everyone to be able to get the guns from any timestamp in Destiny. And guess what? They completely forgot about that again, and they made so many fun guns and good guns unobtainable now in Destiny. And that's just awful. Like, Igneous Hammer right now in Trials is one of the best guns to use. And guess what? It's out of the rotation, and you cannot get it. Like, there's so many guns from all the seasons that are just unobtainable. Even comp weapons right now, Bungie thought it was a good idea to remove the focusing at Shaxx. So you cannot get any of the previous comp weapons except if you wait for Xur. But the Rose, which is probably the best 140 in the game, is unattainable. Like, why would new players come to the game if they can't even get the guns that people right now are using because they're just gone. Like, there's more FOMO than ever in Destiny I've ever seen. But Bungie gave us an option to wait for Xur and get those guns from Xur. I was like, great, we're going to be able to get Rose, we're going to be able to get, like, OG Palindrome, stuff like that from Xur, right? No, this guy comes in every single week, but every single week...
He's bringing some hot trash.
He has garbage. And sometime, once in a blue moon, like once every 6 months, oh, he's going to be selling, for example, an Ostringer, a Palindrome, or a Rose. Good. And you go to Xur and you talk to him, and you check the Rose roll, and it's always trash. So you wait 6 months for a weapon, and you have one chance of it being good. And it's always missing 1 or 2 perks, so you never truly get the God roll.
The Xur slander is based, okay? Xur has been bringing some hot garbage lately. What the hell is wrong with that guy? Fuck that guy. Bring some good loot, right? Or else we're kicking you out of the tower. Pick him up and hurl him off the edge down into the last city unless he brings some good loot.
Like, why not make Xur just have Rose, for example, and you could just buy it, like, with strange coins throughout the weekend. So you make people play during the weekend, and you get them to farm strange coins, and every time they click on the Rose, they get a random roll until they get the God roll. Great, you know? Like, it's just so annoying. So that is for the weapons and the loot in general in Destiny. I want to quickly talk about armor because I've heard rumors, and I don't know if it's true. I'm not blaming Bungie for that because I'm not sure if it's true, but it really feels like the armor in Destiny looks worse than it was back in the days. Every armor set that looks good now is just from Eververse. It's like they want you to buy the Eververse armor, so every other armor set, like raids, trials, or whatever, just looks so basic, so you spend money on silver.
Now this is a novel idea. Not my multi-billion-dollar corporation. No, never.
Heard things about this, but I don't know if it's true. It's just sad to see, you know? I want to get cool stuff by playing the game, not by swiping my credit card. So that was mainly a rant. I just feel so sad, like, grinding Destiny 2, because I still truly enjoy the game, and it's truly a different game, and the gameplay is just so unique, but when you play this game, there's nothing to grind for, I feel like. So that's it. I'm done with my rants. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure you guys drop a like if you want to see more videos like this. Peace.
All right, so there it was. That was Destiny 2 has a loot problem from ZkMushroom. And he had some valid points. He obviously has an opinion where he really enjoyed Destiny 2 or Destiny 1's loot system rather, and how it had, you know, just a lot more rarity to things. And that system was fun for a period of time. Like everything, it can get a little bit stale and things have to evolve and change. And I think that the loot problem is an issue. Like, it would be nice to have more new loot, but really the biggest issue is the power grinding. I really feel like power leveling is like the main focus I have towards, like, fix this, or at least just remove it from the game, or if you're not going to remove it, then just make it something that's so unbelievably passive you just don't even think about it. Like, I think that's really the best play. You're just not going to get people jazzed up or excited about power grinding. I think that truly, you know, new loot, new weapons, and new activities, new experiences are definitely going to be needing to be at the forefront if you want Destiny 2 to continue to grow and thrive. But still an interesting video. If you had some good points, let me know what you think about it down in the comment section below.